Hi, and welcome to Outsmart Your Guitar. I'm glad you could drop by and check out what we're doing today. Today, we're in part 5 on a series called How to Practice Scales. This series goes in depth in helping you understand how to learn, study, and apply a given scale. In this case, we're using the Ionian mode as the model. It's also called the major scale in common parlance. We're also including the pentatonic major scale because the 5 notes of that scale are also part of the Ionian mode. All right, so let's just get right to it. But wait, press that red button down there in the corner and you'll be subscribed to Outsmart Your Guitar. Ring the notification bell and you will be informed when new lessons are posted, which is usually around once a week or so. For an expanded version of this lesson and many lessons not included here on YouTube, go on over to patreon.com, Outsmart Your Guitar, and subscribe and become a patron at one of 2 levels. In so doing, you'll be helping support my efforts to continue providing you with high-quality lesson material to help you learn, play, and grow to be the guitar player you desire to be, to play the music you love. Sound good? All right, let's get to the lesson. Let's look at the 3rd position of the Ionian mode, or the major scale as it's called, right? So we're going to start on the 9th fret. And in the diagram, you'll see the fingering and everything. So just walk through it nice and slow. And the idea here is to have a quality of execution and have good firm grasp on your fingering. Your thumb is straddling the spine. And you just play through this and get every note sounding really nice all the way through, like this. And triple tap your roots, by the way, to keep yourself centered and focused on the major scale. So what I want you to do is play through this. Again, as I said, nice and slow. Don't play fast. Make sure your fingering is very clearly, solidly placed over each note so you're getting the best sounding note at each interval of the scale. So pause the video, take a couple of minutes and just walk through this nice and smooth and fluid and easy. Take your time here. Just really work this out, okay? Then when you're ready to continue, press play and we'll keep going. All right, we're going to condense things a little bit here. What I'm going to do now is, do you remember the progression from part 2? And we've been using it since. I'm just going to keep using the same progression. It keeps things a little simpler. I'm going to run up and back through the scale 2 or 3 times before I actually start to play a melody. And we're going to do this all over the progression. And I want you to listen to how the scale at the 3rd position sounds as the chords change. It's going to have a bit of a melodic quality at times, and that's the idea here. I want you to listen to how the scale works over chord changes. All right? So I'll play that a few times, then I'll go right into some melodic ideas. All right, here we go. 3, 4. So what I want you to pay attention to again is how the scale sounds in the third position, just running over the progression. And then that helps to get your fingers really oriented. So when you then start to just play off melodically, you have a better sense of where all your notes are and where they, when you can hit them. You can jump around, you can play linear, a little bit more scalar in that sense, but also you want to take advantage of the sound of the chords because you've got an A, you got an E, you got a C minor, and a C sharp minor, excuse me, and a D here, right? So you can actually take advantage of some of those notes as well. And you heard me do just a little bit of that. So pause the video and play through this. Again, 3 or 4 times through the scale alone, just to get your fingers comfortable and oriented. I played 2 notes per beat. And then start to work into melodic ideas. And do this for 5 to 7 minutes, longer if you wish. It's up to you. Okay? And just get yourself really comfortable. All right? Then when you're ready to continue, press play and we'll keep going. Let's look at the third position of the pentatonic major scale, the joined form. And you'll see it's also at the 9th fret. So just play through this. Pay attention to how you're fingering it. Your thumb, again, is back on the spine. And your roots, again, are at 12 on the 5th string and 10 on the 2nd string. You want to double or triple tap those as you go to keep yourself in the key that you're playing, which in this case is A. So go ahead and pause the video and just practice this position up and back a few times. If you want to put it to the metronome, that would be an awesome thing to do as well. It helps regulate your timing to get you smooth and flowing, all right? Then after you've done this for a couple minutes, press play and we'll keep going. All right, let's bring in the progression and we'll play the scale up and back over 2 passes of the progression. Then we'll break into a melodic idea, just playing the third position of the pentatonic major scale and nothing else. Now, you'll notice I'm avoiding bending strings, and that's deliberate on my part. I just want to really get comfortable with this position of the scale. That's part of the deeper function of the practice here. We don't want to add a whole lot of other weird stuff or things that you might normally do when you play. I want you to focus on this scale and this position in particular at this moment. 3, 4. So that's the basic idea. You play through the scale, make sure you're listening to how it sounds, and then break into some melodic ideas. And don't worry about how fast you're playing. How fast is not important. It's the quality of the execution. My level of facility is different than yours probably, so I can do a little bit more fancy stuff. But that's not the key here. The key really is about playing well and just following melodic ideas as well to give you a sense of what you can do. And use all 6 strings. Don't just stay up here in this part, because you're probably familiar with that. But this, see, there's a lot of melodic ideas right there. So focus on that too. Don't just stay in one part of the scale position. All right? So pause the video, do this for about 5 to 7 minutes, and really explore what's going on here. Learn from it. See what the possibilities are. Then, when you're ready to continue, press play, and we'll keep going. All right, let's do some dexterity work here. We're in the Ionian mode, 3rd position. If you don't know what it's actually called the Phrygian form, just to be clear here. And again, we're just walking through the notes of the scale, but we're doing it in thirds. So we're going up a third, back a little bit, up a third, back, up a third, back. So it's 1 finger, 1 fret, and just take your time, follow the diagram. The fingering is pretty straightforward stuff here. And again, slow and quality of execution to make sure your fingers know their job. Now you'll notice we always end on a root that keeps us centered and focused on the scale, which is A major. We're just in the 3rd position. So pause the video, practice this deliberately and carefully. Don't worry about timing and keeping it smooth and flowing. Get your fingers used to what they're doing. Walk through it mechanically. Then smooth it out and do put it to a metronome, 2 notes per beat. And don't worry about the tempo. Time and practice will get you up to a ripping speed. All right? Right now it's about quality of execution. How well can you play this and get your notes sounding nice and full and rich and solid? All right? So after you've done this for a few minutes, maybe a couple of times, 3, 4 times even, restart the video and press play. We'll go and keep going, right? Okay, here's the dexterity exercise for the pentatonic major 3rd position, the joined form. Now, you'll notice in some respects we're going up in 4ths, not 3rds, because we only have 5 notes. Again, take it slow, work it out mechanically, and here's what you're going for. Again, ending on the root. This is going to be a little more awkward than the Ionian version, ironically. So again, work it out mechanically. Take your time here. Pause the video, work it out. Make sure you're playing it smooth and flowing before you move on, and ideally with a metronome on top of that, 2 notes per beat. All right? Then, when you're ready to continue, press play. On the screen, you'll see a diagram showing 4 different transition points between the second position, the Dorian form of the Ionian mode, and the third position, the Phrygian form of the Ionian mode. So basically, you just walk through these, and we're starting in the second position. So our first transition, as you'll see, is on the second string. So we're going to play through most all of the second position to get to this, right? Like this. Now here's where we transition to the third position, leading with the first finger. And this is where the first finger normally sits in the third position, so we're in position. Right? Now, transition back at the same place on the second string with the first finger into second position. And just play the Dorian form just like normal. The second graphic, we are transitioning on the third string. So again, start at the bottom of the Dorian form in second position. Here's your transition point. We're just going to go up 1 fret, and we're going to straddle both positions until we're in position. In the third position, right? Now, coming back down, we do the same thing. Second finger, first finger, slide back 1. We're now fully in the second position. The third graphic has the same idea happening on the fourth string. Here's your transition point, but we're going to straddle, and we're going to straddle using the third string as well. And then we're in position in the third position of the scale. Now coming back down, we straddle again. Back 1 fret. Now, if you want, on the way up, you can do this. Whoops. Right, so you see what I did there? Coming back down, we can, instead of transitioning here, we can transition on the fourth string. Third, second finger, a little extra there, not on the graphic. Now, the fourth graphic is the fifth string transition. Right here, transition with the first finger up, now you're in Phrygian. Come back down, now you're in Dorian. And you can come up there to end on the root. All right? All right, let's have some fun here. Now, you've gone over each of the transitions and gotten them clear in your head, right? Now, put it to the melody and play through them just linear, just as you just did now, and then what we can do is start to use them in a melodic context. So I'll run linear and then we'll run melodic. Here we go. First transition. Second transition. Third transition. Fourth. something along those lines. Pause the video, put that progression on, and start getting these transitions clear in your head. Now, you're just going between Dorian and Phrygian forms, second and third position of the Ionian mode. Don't go anywhere else. Work those transitions. Then, after doing that for about 10 or more minutes, have fun with it. Take your time. Restart the video, and we'll keep going. Let's look at the pentatonic major transition points between the second position, the amended form, and the third position, the joined form. They're a little different than the Ionian ones, and let's walk through and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Starting in the second position, you work up to the second string. Here's your first transition, which technically you're not moving your first finger, you're actually jumping to your second finger, which puts you into position in the third position, because that's where your second finger normally falls, and then you jump back to your first finger to finish it off. The second graphic, we go to the fourth string. Now, the third string transition is not a good transition point. It's just not done. So, we go to the fourth string. Move your first finger up 2 frets. The third transition's on the 5th string. First finger moves up. And we'll just end on that A. The final transition is immediately on the 6th string. Now, there is one I didn't cover, and that's on the 1st string. Since you can go up like this, you can do the same thing on the 1st string. So, and there are your transition points. So pause the video, practice playing through them, and really enjoy the process. Take about 5 minutes or so. Get these really clear in your head, all right? Then when you're ready to go, press play. Let's now bring in the rhythm progression and play the transitions linearly over the progression, and then start to play something melodic, something along these lines. 3, 4. First transition. Second transition. Third. Fourth. Bonus. Melodic. Something like that. You don't have to be brilliant every time. The point being that you are learning to make your transitions so that you can at some point be brilliant and wonderful, particularly when you're composing a solo that will be repeatable. Your brilliance will shine forth because you're now working your fretboard more and more properly and more the way professional guitar players with a deep knowledge of scales and transitions, how to navigate up and down the fretboard, operate. And that's the whole idea here, right? So pause the video and practice this up and back, both linear and melodically. Get comfortable with it. And then, after doing this for 15 minutes or so, go ahead and restart the video and we'll keep going. All right, so there you go. There's some more stuff to work on to help you to learn to really understand this scale. Very important stuff here, because in order to play a scale well and with a natural feel, you need to really probe into the little dark corners. Every single note and every single location of every single note of that scale. I know that sounded a bit redundant, but the idea here is that when you are practicing a scale, if you are not fully investigating everything about it, what it offers you, what its potential is, then you are not really doing yourself justice, nor the scale, and you will be missing potential opportunities and potential creative brilliance. And I don't overemphasize that without reason. It is creative brilliance that is usually found in the unusual places, the places that the average person will not venture, either out of fear, ignorance, or some other element. So you want to do this. You want to do this. Make yourself more than what is typical, right? All right. Ah, my goodness. Well, don't be in a hurry to get to the next lesson. It will be there. Spend your time absorbing and assimilating everything you need to be able to fully understand and be ready for the next lesson. All right? Until then, take care of yourself, and we'll see you when you get there.